Welcome again to another episode of Meet the Creators. And my name is Louis Joseph. I'm the founder and CEO of iBoss Entertainment.
And hello, I'm Amrita Khalsa, Director of Marketing for iBoss.
Yeah, and we have an excellent show for you today. We have the creator, actor, producer of Await the Dawn feature film, which you can watch right now on iBoss TV. So make sure you check it out. iBoss Entertainment is all about empowering independent filmmakers and creators. You can check out our website, ibossentertainment.com, and see everything that we got going on. Also, follow us on social media at iBoss Entertainment, and whereas Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all that good stuff. All right, so Amrita, you ready? We have a great show
Yeah,
today.
this is our first horror film that we've really dove into and like talked to the creator or producer actor too. And I'm so excited to go into this genre of filmmaking and entertainment as well. So just really excited to dive into this conversation.
Yeah, let's do it. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce you to Gregg Christie, actor, producer of the feature film Await the Dawn.
Hi there, everyone. How are you?
How are you
Hello.
doing, Greg?
I'm doing excellent. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. How could you not be loving the way things are? So just staying busy. Uh, Anxious to do this interview. I've been looking forward to it since first approached. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to answer any questions and to help those of that are out that are looking to get into the industry, whether it's from the standpoint of putting your own film together to whatever areas of expertise that I could lend. I'm more than happy to want to do that.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure having you here today. Thank you for being here, and we're definitely looking forward to having this conversation. So, just to get things going here, so tell us a bit about yourself as a filmmaker, actor, creator, and and everything you've been doing as of late, and things like that.
Well, this thing all started a long time ago when my mother actually bore me. So, here she said, "I think you need to do something productive or live out your dreams." And I had two of those. One of which was to be a professional baseball player, and I was able to accomplish that. The other was I was a child commercial actor, and then I went into playing baseball and met a friend. He was an actor. It's like, Pacino says, once you think you're out, just keeps pulling you back in. So I got into doing some acting when I was, some years ago, adult years ago. And then finally sort of realized that this industry is so big, yet it's kind of small, and you really need to do some things you have to empower yourself. You have to create what it is, and I think that's the way it is in anything in life. You have to empower yourself to be able to move forward and to make whatever your dreams and goals are a reality. So
Mhm.
waiting for the phone to ring or my agent to call me didn't exactly, wasn't always as productive as I wanted it to be, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who understand exactly what that means. So I
Mhm.
decided I wanted to build some content, um, to showcase myself, to get a better idea as to what the industry as a whole is about. As an actor side, I go to and I get sides. I put it on tape these days, and it goes to casting, and it's left up to them, and they decide whether they send it to producers, and it kind of goes up the chain, and then it comes right back down, and your agent either does or doesn't call you back, and if you don't get it, they don't call you back to tell you you didn't get it. So they call you
Right.
and tell you, but in order to make some of that, I have to understand all of this process to make myself a better actor,
Mhm.
understand who I'm actually targeting at when in a room or on this thing here to go to move forward. So
Mhm.
again, I decided to get into the production end, and by doing that as a producer, I understood budgets, I understand running time, I understand the cast that you have to assemble. You get caught as a producer. You get caught between, well, as in the case of, say, Dee Wallace. Um, and it happened the same with Bruce Davison and Courtney Gaines. They're obviously, they have other projects that are going on, as we all like to be busy with. And so you have to sort of, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You sort of have to find, how does she fit in that can put her and, say, Bruce or Courtney in the same day or within that week, that
Mm-hmm.
because she's
Mm-hmm.
only available for X period of time and she moves on to another project. And once she's gone, she's gone. So now you're building this jigsaw puzzle together to find out. And of course, there's always financing, and there's, you know, it's just so much that the average actor doesn't even really understand, let alone the people who are watching our projects that come out.
Mm-hmm.
I then also put together some shorts. I've had the opportunity and fortune that I've had a chance to work on a few different things, a bunch of TV stuff. I do get auditions, but a lot of the stuff, again, having produced content, and getting the content out there. Because if you're sitting on the thing that I'm sitting on right now and
Mm-hmm.
expecting things to happen, it just doesn't work that way. And
Right.
everybody who thinks it does is kidding themselves. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
This is called show business, not called. We work in show business, and think of it as two separate words.
Right.
The business part is huge, and I have found more and more in acting classes, whether it's when I was studying with Howard Fine, or if I'm studying with Berg,
Mm-hmm.
they start to implement, or even some cases, I was at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, not to push these schools
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
their the curriculum, because it's a school, it's a curriculum. The curriculum includes the business side of it, because you
Right.
have to know, whether you're, a producer, if he doesn't have an idea as to what acting is all about, and vice versa, you're going to miss what is ultimately can be your success. So they include the business aspect of this, and there is business aspect to it. There's business of you as an actor. What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing when you get up in the morning? What time in the morning are you getting up? What are you eating? How much are you exercising or working out? To how you take care of your skin, to take care of a lot of things. Now,
Mm-hmm.
certain actors out there are going to have a certain look, and they don't. But there's a lot of actors that have a particular look that they're going for. But at the end of the day, if anybody's kidding themselves to think that they don't have the vanity of, you have to have that. But that also works well when you are meeting with people.
Mm-hmm.
We work in an illusionary world. Again, I don't hold that back on anything. We
Right.
work in an illusionary world. We suspend disbelief. You know that's just the fact of the matter. So it was all about getting content. It was then, when getting to do the producing end,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's all about networking. So in the networking side of it, I was in a class, and there they brought in speakers,
Mm-hmm.
and she brought in, this gentleman, Macho. That's always what we call him, as Macho. His name is Pablo Macho Masonette, but he likes Macho. Macho is in the horror genre,
Mm.
and when you make a film, you have to look at it from the business sides of it. It's like, what's this going to cost me?
Right.
Um, because if you're thinking, well, I'm going to make the next Avatar, well, okay, I'll take your $200 million and move forward. But we're not talking about those types of projects. We're talking about projects like what I've done. Is you put in and you get ultra low budget, and
Mm-hmm.
you find in the budget who you can have or go get. Um, you find that's anything in front of the camera. Then you have your cameraman, you have your sound, you have locations, you have. So what we had to do is, as an example, we used primarily two locations.
For
One of
this.
the locations was like a sound stage. It was
Mm-hmm.
a small you you see them a lot in Los Angeles. There are these little business parks, and they will take some of those warehouses, and they'll make little sound stages out of them. So you'll have, in our case, there was a bar set, there was a hospital set, there was a couple of other sets that we could all stay there and we could do it. Now we traveled to do the exteriors. We traveled to, I cannot think of the name of the park, but it
And
was
and just for the viewers to know, we're talking about the set for the Await the Dawn.
correct.
Yes.
Correct. So in A Way to Done, we used a set that you probably would have seen if you saw, let's say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as
Hmm.
Thawne ran.
Yeah.
We set that up, and it's just the park, barren, and so we set that up for all the exterior shots. And I apologize, we had one more exterior, which is when you see our RV go by,
Mm.
and at the
Yeah.
very beginning. So you have to understand how does that budget into what you can do and what you can make. So that's the business part, the aspect of it. So I was searching for a script to put together, and this gentleman Pablo came, and he was teaching. He was he was watching scenes unfold, and he'd give his critiquing on it. And essentially,
Hmm.
that's what most guests do when they come into class. Um, and then it came to that his script seemed to be the best suited for everything involved. I didn't have to use, the thing was I could have used CGI, uh, but CGI costs a lot of money to use.
Hmm.
So you have to say, what can we create so we went to old Hollywood movie magic. It was real life stuff, and with real characters dressed up into so their costume and so forth.
And we're definitely gonna show some of those clips, the trailer
Okay.
actually, to the
Yeah.
viewers, as you get into it. Now, as far as the Pablo providing the script, was it a pitch? Was it everyone was pitching their idea, and it was sort of that process, or if that was the case, what tips maybe you may have for actors out there that are doing that, or writers out there, screenwriters out there that are looking to pitch their idea in order to fit maybe something that you're trying to do, like what attracted you to it besides some of the components when it comes to filming.
Well, yes, he pitched it, and we had a dinner meeting. We listened to the story, and in the middle of, as he's telling this story, of course, these wheels are spinning in the back of your head, and you're saying to yourself, "All right, so where are we looking at budget wise?" And
Mm.
please understand, this budget didn't even. It started a lot lower. This is the other thing. The
Oh,
budget started a lot lower. It was, by the time all was said and done, and the choices that we made, this budget was like, for us, for a small independent filmmaker, and my wife and I financed the whole thing. So
Mm.
it was like no outside money was involved. So we were looking at, where is this going to feasibly land? And as I'm
Hmm.
thinking, okay, well, look, everybody pitches and everybody tells you, well, we could do this for, well, turns into whoop. It's just, it's just,
10
it's
times the
never. So
budget.
you got to listen to when somebody's pitching and what they want to do, and you take your like in any business, you take your budget and you add 20% onto that. Ours, of course, went a bit more
Way
than that. Yeah. So, but we fortunately had the means to do it, and we're able to get it done. But and what I mean, when if you're a filmmaker and you're listening to people, you have to take emotion out of it.
Mm.
Emotion is it, it just can't play into the final decision. It has to be part of it. You have to be excited about what you want to do, obviously,
Hmm.
but you
Hmm.
also have to realize that sometimes everybody's going to pitch and they're all going to be like, hey, all right, we're all like, and then of course that gets you all doing like that. But you have to take that out, and I don't think enough people take that emotion. I tell a lot of people no,
Mm.
and you have to be aware that the moment you put it out there, you're going to get hit all over the place for
Right.
pitching. Friends that I said, just do me a favor, be my friend. Don't be just somebody who's trying to pitch me your project. Um,
Mm.
You
I
hear
don't
that
mind
out there,
kind of,
everybody? Be a friend, not just pitching.
absolutely, yeah, and be real. Excuse me. Be real about what you want, and be real about your expectations. And um, but when you get to that collaboration part, you have to be real with the reality of what's going on, and you have to ask questions. And the biggest thing I say to people is ask questions. Never assume. A closed mouth does not get fed.
That's right.
Um, and that's I apply that to everything that I do. Um, so yeah, I mean, from the pitching, just that's what happened with Pablo. He came and he pitched, and we talked, and we had a couple of more meetings, and started breaking down the finances as to what was going on. And of course, that's when you find out more and more of what you want to that it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and it is all about, there's it's all about a dollar figure, and it's are your expectations to get something back. What you have to look at too is, well, gee, Blair Witch Project, well, they shot that for like relatively no money, and that film did like, quadrillion dollars. And it's like, those are rarities, those are anomalies. That does not
Mhm.
happen every day. I've watched stuff that was a takeoff of the Blair Witch Project, just recently. And the other night I'm watching, I think it's called The Devil's Due.
Hmm.
Um, um, no, nobody in that. Don't recognize a single face, which is part of what your budget's going to do to a lot to you. Is that you're going to
Mhm.
try to plug a couple of people in, so at least people have something to recognize. But this showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just happened to be waking up off the chair and decided to see how far I could put up with this film. But you recognize that they're shooting it from the same type of thing like the Blair Witch Project. But Blair Witch came and went. That moment, just kind of came and went. So you have to realize that not everything, and I'm not trying to discourage. I'm trying to lay some reality here.
Right.
Let's be real on this. You have to realize where your project's going to go, and if you can even get it out there, be blessed. Be blessed that you have it out there.
Mhm.
I have a great distributor with Laurel at Echelon.
Mhm.
She's believed that got us all together. And to me, it's like, you need, if I were to work this, I'd kind of work a little bit backwards. Go get a distributor first.
Mm.
Now you're going to be pitching. You got pitched, and now you need to go get as the filmmaker. You want to get it released. You want to get it at the AF, at the American, at the film market, or you want to get it on, which can then lead to getting it on, say, Netflix or Showtime or Amazon or iBoss or anybody. You have to get somebody who's actually going to move it, because it does no good when the
Mhm.
movie's sitting in the can, in the old terminology. When the film's in the can, it's just in the can, and that's great. You can, or I could get a bunch of CDs made and show them off to all my friends. Well, that would be dumb,
Mhm.
because now I lose revenue there. But you can sit and watch it all you want by yourself. But if you can't get somebody to distribute that film, it's
Mhm.
going to do you no good. So go try to do the best of your diligence, um, by getting the distributor involved early.
So,
Um,
are you saying that, let's say you're a screenwriter and you're going to produce the film as well, or you're going to,
mhm,
you're going to be the one to actually
mhm.
film it? Are you saying that before you even um, start that production process, even in your pre-production prep, prep and everything, start looking into distribution, start getting them involved into what you're about to make, not after you actually filmed it and all
Right.
that stuff, get them involved before that point.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Try to get a bite on some kind of distribution potential, because this way you know that if I know that I take the trash can up to the street, the trash man's going to pick it up. So I know that. but I can't take the trash can up to the street 4 hours later and then get picked up. So you want to know ahead of time that there's going to be some kind of fight. Now, every distributor is going to want to see the project. They're going to want to see something to know where is it going to fit in their catalog, can they sell it, who are they going to sell it to, blah blah blah. But if you can get their, if you can get your script is already licensed with the guild, so they can't, and it's not like, as nice as I like to film, it isn't like this was like an anomaly of something that we've never seen before. We've seen these kinds of things, but we tried to make it a little different. Bringing the little girl in, having that type of issue to it, where, but you want, because ultimately you have to get a distributor. So work with somebody early on. And I laugh at the amount of time I spent finding. I talked to 100 different distributors.
That's what I was about to ask you. How difficult is it to actually try to get a distributor to be on your side without even having any content, really? So, but at least have them in your radar, maybe.
Absolutely. When we were talking yesterday, I mentioned, networking. Networking is huge. It's a part of, to all you filmmakers out there, broaden your network. Make, instead of being a parakeet wings, be an eagle's wings. Have good, strong feathers, meaning contacts, and lots of them, that and diverse yourself. When I say that, I mean bring actors that bring cameramen that bring different people who are looking to become a director of photography in. Bring some sound people in. It's not all just about what's in front of the camera. It's about it's a collaboration. It's about what's behind the camera as well. And when you have done that, you're going to get these, what people call lucky breaks. There's no such thing. It's preparation. Preparation meets the situation, creates the moment. I was living in LA, and across the street from me, I lived in a little cul-de-sac, but across the street from me was this gentleman named Jerry, and we just kept talking every day. So, hey man, how you doing today? Hey, it's a nice day. That typical kind of conversation, neighborly conversation. So one day I said, so, hey Jerry, so what do you do? Well, I'm a director of photography. Really? Now, he's done a lot of other horror content. And so what happened is, well, this is getting good, but I now have that, but never underestimate who you're going to run into. They tell actors, always be nice to the receptionist, because she's one day going to be a casting director or a producer. And it's absolutely true. There is no disputing it. That happens all the time. So be nice to the people that that live across your street, or in the apartment building next to you or something, because you just don't know what they do. And they might be just the piece of the puzzle, because by way of him, I was able to land my camera guy.
Let's show the trailer for Await the Dawn so everybody get a sense. So let's roll it.
I hope this works, Doc.
Recovery isn't going to be easy. She's just confused and frustrated.
Your mom and I really appreciate you coming out for your sister. She likes to play tough sometimes, but she appreciates it too.
Mom? Oh my God!
All I need is for you to keep this thing moving south till sunup.
I wasn't gonna hurt you.
I know, you just seem desperate.
No one will get hurt as long as we keep everything cool. We just need to head as far away from here as possible.
She looks like she needs help. She doesn't need help. And no matter what she looks like, she's not a kid.
Run, little rabbit.
Please, I don't want to die.
You don't have to do this, no!
You guys have no idea what will happen if this thing turns off.
What are we supposed to do?
All we have to do is just sit tight and do what?
Wow. So definitely a lot of suspense there, a lot of, scary moments. And yeah, so no, definitely great production. Now, you mentioned something earlier, and I know you're gonna get into the story about bringing in some elements like the little girl that you have there in the trailer. And were there any other components that you had to change because of the budget you were working with, or elements you had to add, or you know things you just had to really just get rid of because and ultimately have the final product from what the pitch was to what the final production was?
Well, first of all, I want to shout out to Hannah Strasser, who plays the little girl. She's 9 years old when we
Did an awesome job.
It's just amazing that this is a little girl that a young lady that knew everybody else's lines. She'd be writing her lines, and the other actor would say something. She'd go, no, now I think that it goes like this. And, oh, okay. I mean, she was just absolutely adorable. Yeah, some things that we had to change. Yeah, there were a couple of actors that I had in mind, and it actually they were on board. But the thing you find out as a producer is that when people can't, time is huge. Time is money. It is money. What would I change? I would have liked to have gotten more footage in the can. I would have liked to have had some more. I'd like to have had more alternate possibilities of what I could have done, or extended, or just changed some of what was there. Problem with that is it all goes again to you're budgeted to use the sound stage for X amount of days, and this is the price. You're budgeted that if you want to use the exteriors where the RV was going through, and where they're on that little highway, and the one guy kneels down, and she rips his. Well, I'm not going to tell you what she does. You people have to go back.
Spoiler alert.
Exactly. But all of that stuff was within the same location, because location equated to packing up all the equipment, moving it, unloading it, resetting up, So I would have liked to have had a little more time. I would have, with using children, you have to have a teacher on set. This is, you're shaking your head. You know exactly what I'm saying. You have to. It's part of, it's the law. And there are no way, don't ever think you can skirt around what SAG and what the laws are when it comes to anything. I mean, it's so, you look at and henceforth, how do you time when you're going to shoot her scenes? I mean, you have there, it's so much stuff that I didn't even think of it. When beginning, I didn't realize you had to have a teacher on set. I didn't realize she could only shoot it. I mean, common sense.
And what prompted that? Is somebody just mentioned, hey, you need to, have a teacher on set, or
it came across through one of the other producers that were on the shoot. Said, we have to get a teacher for her. So this is all kind of in the early stuff. So people, if they think about it, they see those. I'm going to use my wall here. So they see these boards, right? And they see all these different little pieces that they move around, and then you have these running things. Well, that's kind of exactly the way it works. Is that you looking at I'm going to shoot scene pages, 2 to 6 on this date. Now this might have so and so in it, but in order to be able to have use of our soundstage, you have to see if that even fits in there, or you have to then shoot it on a different day. Henceforth, that old term of shooting in sequence on the script, shooting from page 1 to page 120 versus, okay, we're going to shoot 1 to 5, and then we're going to move on to 27 to 32, and then we're going to, because you have to accommodate for when you have, I just shot on a major motion picture. I worked on Joker 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that came, they have, and I did that I shot my stuff in January, and mine was the 1 week, deal. And to this day, they're still shooting. But they have $150 million, and they have a few small. I don't have $150 million. I'm sorry, forgive me. But we have to realize. So when you realize they can shoot anywhere they want,
Right.
But it's all relative. Yeah, they're still going to have certain things, guidelines, because those actors are working on stuff. But that's just the way it works. So what would I wish I would have had. I wish I would have had more ability to get alternate scenes, just some extra footage. Always, when you make, try to get extra footage. So when you go into budget and you're trying to create what you are, and the box here, try to move the box out if you can, because you might need some of that. We looked at afterwards. It was like, wish we would have had this. I wish we would have had that. Is that just natural? I guess. Always wish.
Yeah, there's always this element of new ideas that come up once you start putting it together. So
exactly. We can't shoot that. We can't do this angle on the camera. And I would have liked to have little inside stuff. I would have liked to have had the RB set on hydraulics. I would have, and now I'm sort of getting really picky and things. As you look back on that, what I'd like, and I also would have liked to have so and so on my film, but
right.
But you deal with what you have. But yeah, there's always going to be. It isn't a matter of one change versus another, because what you think is important, all of a sudden in reality, it's not so much this was more important.
Right.
So then you could sit back and you're going, well, yeah, but if I could, then I would do a lot of the whole film differently, or had extra this, or supplied. But you can't, and you just wish. I think just wish more than anything, I just had extra footage. But I could have done this, and this.
Okay. No, that's I'm sure, and obviously looking at the film, there's a lot of direction you can't even go afterwards. So, if you will,
and then once you get the film done, it's all the stuff you have to do afterwards. And we talked about the distribution side of it. Now there comes that, and and God, please do not be desperate. Do not be desperate, because you're going to find in a year's worth of pounding the phone virtually every day. No joke. I've just talked to all sorts of distributors. Now, some of them were common kind of offers. 10 years. This is the guaranteed money, or this is that, and people. Nothing is as it seems in this business. It's just part of doing your homework. Because you find that, they'll give me X amount of dollars, but then they'll have back end kind of that'll eat that up, and they aren't going to do as much, and now you're going to have to do more. You want to find, you just don't want to take the first offer that comes up. Definitely don't want to take the first offer. But you want to look at things. Remember, this is your child in a way. You put as much effort into that, and if you want to You want to cradle it, and you want to hold it, you want to hug it, you want to be, you want to stroke the back of the head. You want everything. Don't shortchange your baby.
Yeah.
So between production and pre-production, production, so even after the filming, it took almost what, a year to really get that distribution portion going.
That was after that's after you have to send it out, and you have to have color corrections, you have to have sound corrections, you have to make sure every time a door opens that that the that it's in there. What you think you're seeing, you miss stuff. So what happens is you send it off to a company, they run it through a computer that analyzes everything, and they send you this really long report that says, you've got this and this and this are okay, we can work with it, and this and this, it's like you got to redo that too. And it's when you think, as you're looking at the film and you're hearing it and you're watching it and you're thinking, yeah, but what are they talking about? That's just, but it's there, and it's, it gets picked up. And so there's all of that. This isn't, as I'm saying it, I'm feeling like, oh my God, nobody's going to want to make a film. It's like, walk into this with your eyes open. Don't walk with them half open, and, walk. It's about, it's all of this it should be taken encouraging, because you're getting information that you wouldn't, listen, half the people that are out there probably don't even understand the whole process. I mean, and it's not expected, but if you're going to do it, you do it. Baseball players don't just show up at the ballpark and start, hitting, all these home runs. They don't show up at the ballpark and just automatic. That's work. It's knowing what goes into it, and they become better ball players by it. And you just want to kind of want to keep that approach on it. Keep that. Get a full understanding about it. The networking is huge, because, I'll tell you, I was going to say this. One thing I would not do. What would I change? I'm going to digress. I apologize. What would I change about the film? Is I probably would not act and produce on the scale that we are all doing again. Remember, I talked about time is money. I mean,
Tell us a bit about why. I mean, it's a lot of work to be on camera, and also handling the management of it.
Because every single second that goes by, you're sitting here, and the scene is over here taking place, and behind you have people that are, because it's all about time. It's all about, you have so many hours in a day, you have so many days in a week, and maybe so many weeks in a month. And so consequently, you are hyper aware of how long is it taking this guy, who has got a job that he's doing, to get over to here, because we're going to be doing something. And you're literally looking at your clock, saying to yourself, we need to move. We need to speed up. And when your other actors are sitting there and they're saying, I'm really sure I get where he's going with this. What's his motivation on this? You know what? If you didn't know the motivation to begin with, you didn't do your homework. But that's fine, except you're like this. And you're going, so now it's going to take another 15 minutes. 15 minutes equates $2. And it takes another 15 minutes for him to do this. It's like, my God, this could be footage that's in the can. But no, I have to sit here. And as a producer, you're sitting back there doing that. It's just, and so you're getting all stressed. And I have to tell you, I was not the easiest person to be around during this filming, because it's stressful. And that
I can imagine that was really challenging to go in character, play your role, and then step out of the character, play producer, and then get back in character, play your role. So that right there, that's very, very difficult. So I can see why you say Probably would
It's
never
not
do that.
easy. I had different hats that were sitting on a rack that, okay, I'm going to put my producer's hat on and I'm just going to watch, but you can't just, it's if you can, you stay away. Now, again, a lot of the reason I'm bringing these up because we're talking about small budgeted films.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about if, Warner Brothers having X amount of dollars to spend. And so the actors generally, when you talk about, it's different than you got Brad Pitt who's producing and he's starring in, but Brad Pitt is not sitting there, going through those same things. He's on there because he probably got Julia Roberts to come in on the project, so they're throwing his producer credit on there. So there is a different aspect, but I would probably stay away from your project. More than being on your project. And I know that's a truly difficult thing because it bounced back and forth. Well, I want to be there because I kind of want to see how things are going. And then I don't want to be here because they're wasting my money. And it's like, blah, 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 blah. So that's.
Yeah.
So which side would you rather be on?
Yeah.
I'm a trained actor and I've done that a lot. And I like the idea of, creating the characters and having the influence of my characters to guide how the story goes, and how I can express those characters and what it is that my imagination can create in like maybe, people say that, I wouldn't want to, I don't know how anybody could be playing Ted Bundy, if anybody's not aware of who Ted Bundy was, he was a serial killer that messed up a lot of Washington and Florida. So, or Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff. Me personally, I think they're some of the most dynamic people to portray because they have so much going on. That you have so much material that you can use to bring them to life. Producing is all about getting it, and it's almost, to me, it's a one-way road where as an actor, I have forks all over the place that are coming that I can do the things. So I like that. Do I push away and say, well, I don't want to produce again? No, because I produced a couple of shorts for some people that I wasn't involved in. And then I've done a couple on my own for my stuff. A lot of times my shorts are to put project into my reel, which goes back to in the beginning when we were talking, take you filmmakers out there need to get those that network going because you want to spend 4 or 5 weekends working on how that camera works, knowing how it does, seeing how the lenses work differently for what your thought process is in a shot, so you can be comfortable with the camera. And this is whether you're an actor, sound guy, any portion of this industry. If you're just sitting around and you're just, wow, I just want to be a filmmaker and do this, you're not going to be a filmmaker because but
gotta go out there and do the work. Stop playing with the toys. Yeah.
And I appreciate hearing just me working with youth, the honesty that you're giving. I think some people can just like glamorize this life of like an actor, but like thinking about the complexities that come behind it and the struggles. And it's not being like where you're like pushing people away from this. It's just being honest of the reality of the life and the role that's bigger than just like the red carpet and all of those things. It's the late hours and early mornings that come into this, the writing, everything, the editing that goes into it. So I appreciate you just saying things and just being honest because that's what the youth also need to hear as well.
And I think it's to the area of which your expertise is in with the youth and teaching and stuff like this. I mean, truthfully, you can have anything in the world, anything that you want, if you put your best foot forward. If you go about it halfway, you're only going to get half of what you want, and you may not even get that. But if you put your both feet into it and you commit life can be, whether you want to go to school and become a doctor, whether you want to go to school and become a teacher, whatever it is, just put that energy in. Know the rules of the game, because you'll be more successful by having, the way I tried to share this is by having all of the understandings about it. Wouldn't you like to know what the difficulties are so you can circumvent those? I would. It would makes me a better filmmaker in front and behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a great point because as you mentioned, you play all these different roles, but having the mindset of, okay, even though you may have a sweet spot that you want to be in, which is acting,
Mhm.
you want to know the other process, how they work. May not be an expert on it, but at least have other people in the network to
Mhm.
understand every part of that process. So that way, whatever your creation is, you can sort of anticipate, what it could be going through or will go
Sure,
through. So
sure.
be
And having made
multi-dimensional.
this film and having the understanding about everything that I just said, it gives me a clearer road ahead on the next production, because I know what to expect. It's all right there. It's now I know. Okay, I know that once I get this out of the way, this is probably going to happen. This other thing here is probably going to happen. So what can I do to change up to that point to maybe circumvent that and get ahead of it? And when I didn't know this, I just didn't know it. And there's nothing wrong in that. You just don't know. People say, "Hey, well, that guy's stupid." Well, no, he's not stupid for doing that. He's just uneducated. He doesn't have the edge. He doesn't know. It's like, so how can you go around and say? Because believe me, I had the fair share of my friends, family, and other people going, "Man, you were an idiot for doing that." It's like, why? Because I did this? Yeah. Well, first, have you ever done it before? No. Okay. But second of all, is that I just didn't know. So
Yeah.
this is really, let's get by the I don't know how to do, and let's say, okay, oh, I see that there's a lot more over here that has to be done, and let's take care of that. And then but at the end of the day, all said and done, when I got a chance to take a deep breath and look at the fruits of my labor, that's a nice film. Is
Yeah.
it alien? No, but it's a nice film. It's and you could actually, as horror films go, you could actually sit down with the kids and watch it. There's not too much. Anyway, you could watch. You. There are times I probably would
No
go.
spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers.
I know.
There are definitely moments that will get you.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good horror movie where
Yeah.
I'm not like terrified afterwards or gonna have nightmares. But I enjoyed like being on the couch. It's like my movie I'm gonna turn on at night just for a little
Excellent. Perfect.
that or aura,
Perfect.
and then yeah, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and then
Well, thank
just
you.
a lot
Thank
of
you
your
very much.
too brought that comedic relief, I would say sometimes. So definitely got a little chuckles out of there too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And
I
I thoroughly
appreciate that. Shows that
definitely
it
enjoyed
shows that
that. There's a lot of gotchas in there.
Yeah, it shows as an actor, I did what my intentions were, to bring a little levity to the character. Listen, I've had different people analyze and give me their opinions about things, and everybody's entitled to it. And but people will say, yeah, but Greg, you were so kind of dull. Like, no, you have to look at this, and you have to look at this in the format of what the movie's trying to tell you. But these a lot of times come from people who don't understand how the course of the film is laying itself out. I had a great time with it. But the process is as arduous as it was, and it's that, you know what, I get a chance to be here right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
we definitely appreciate you for, really enlightening us with the details of your process, letting us know about yourself and, and keeping it real
thank
honest
you, thank you.
about it. And the film is great. Everybody go check it out on iBoss TV. The movie Await the Dawn. We have actor and producer here, Gregg Christie. So definitely check it out. Greg, any last advice you want to give to a filmmaker, actor, creator, whatever it is, before we wrap up?
Yeah. Don't let anything stop your dream. Don't let anything stop your dream.
Period.
Couldn't have
Always an
said it
answer to
any
any
better than
problem.
that.
That's easy. Just don't, life's too short. Enjoy it. Enjoy making movies. Making movies is what we like. It's it's why I do it. I enjoy it very much. It's what I'm made of. You two have been spectacular. I appreciate your time that you've given me. The other members of my team will appreciate this as well. Keep an eye out for one of my actors, John Stoddard, who plays Caitlin's or the girl's boyfriend, the daughter's boyfriend. Which, by the way, Dee Wallace, you probably all recognize from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter is in it, so it was kind of a family affair. Network.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gregg, for being here with us today. We truly appreciate your presence here and all your knowledge. And we definitely look forward to having you back. I'm sure you got a lot of other projects on the pipeline. So we certainly, looking forward to reconnecting there as well. So
perfect. Listen, God bless you both. You have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, definitely.
And as they say, I'll see you in Hollywood.
That's right. See you then.
Right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Amazing, right? So much information. There's a lot you have to do when it comes to, making a film. So he really laid out a lot of the process. Some of it, if you're a filmmaker, might sound discouraging. But like you said at the end, get it done. Don't let anybody steal your dreams. Go for your dreams. There's only one life to live, right?
Yeah. And I love like the seeing him on the film as an actor, but then the information he provided about like the behind the scenes and his role as a producer too is definitely invaluable to a lot of people that are going through this now and trying to become that. So there's definitely a lot of parts here and taglines even in this interview that I'm sure we can stamp and really distribute as well for being encouraging to the youth.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a lot of creators out there, myself included, and all of us here, you and everyone, and you want to wear all these hats, right? You want to be the producer, you want to produce, you want to direct, you want to act, you want to do all these things, and him highlighting some of the challenges with that. And that's why he talks about, hey, it's a team effort, right? Network, meet people, don't try to do it all yourself. Don't try to, just be all the hats everywhere. So he goes back and think about it and say, hey, I should have just stayed on the acting side or stayed on the producing side because of that process where he's looking at his watch like, we gotta go to the next scene, right? And we know that probably affected how the how the filming went that day and stuff like that. So definitely, build a tribe, build a team, and delegate.
Yeah.
So all right. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Meet the Creators. We are excited to keep bringing you a lot of awesome independent filmmakers and creators out there, and getting you to know them and the behind the scenes and the projects, so you can get a sense of the inspiration behind what you're watching on iBossTV. So definitely go to iBossTV.com and watch Await the Dawn on iBossTV. And you're going to enjoy it. And by the way, watch it in the dark with some popcorn and maybe some drinks.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Enjoy.
Bye.